Right guys, welcome to part 4. We're going to do a short video here to discuss the Moment of the Year award.
The best and worst moments of this year, people. And there have been some really good things. That's what I thought when I read this list. And some terrible things.
Right, I reckon we should start with the best stuff in this one and do the worst stuff second.
Okay.
Alright, so our nominees for Moment of the Year, best moment, are Randy Orton incredibly successfully punts Vince McMahon in the head.
This is what a punt should look like. Why can't real wrestlers just take this punt?
I was kind of surprised that Vince McMahon was alive after that.
Edge attacks Kofi Kingston and enters the Elimination Chamber.
It was just such clever booking, the
Yeah.
whole psychology of that pay-per-view. Chris Jericho attacks Rey Mysterio from inside the crowd while wearing a Mysterio mask.
Genius. I mean, I didn't expect it at all. Just on this random episode of SmackDown as well.
And not only didn't I expect it, but after it happened, I had no idea why nobody had ever done it before. Just brilliant.
Batista will try in a few days.
Oh God.
Edge and Jericho form a tag team.
Just, again, out of nowhere, really, but just so clever.
And I was just like...
I know, it was brilliant. Cena is eliminated from the Elimination Chamber in a minute and a half.
This was just, we're not even Cena haters. As you can tell, we're not Cena haters. But this was beautiful. The crowd went crazy.
This made me so happy because John Cena allowing himself to be eliminated in a minute and a half was something I never, ever... You could have sat with me, I could have tried to pick that card for days, and that would have never occurred to me at all.
Just brilliant. And their faces after they eliminated them was great as well. Shawn Michaels kicks out of the tombstone. Wrestlemania 25.
Part of this whole wonderful series of great things in this match, and it was just I thought it was the end. And the thing is, looking back on it, it shouldn't have been the end, but it was just the way that Shawn Michaels lingered it so long.
He waited. It was 2 and 8 and 9. So.
I know, it was brilliant. CM Punk retires Jeff Hardy, but then as Jeff Hardy has his terrible, by the way, emotional farewell, Punk appears out of nowhere and just belts him with the title.
Yours, Jeff Hardy, ours, the world. How is that not the worst promo list?
Yeah, that was awful.
But
anyway,
Punk comes out and hits him with the title, that's great. Punk comes out the next night dressed as Jeff Hardy.
That was absolute genius.
Why is Punk not more over?
I thought that was so clever because everyone bought it for a few seconds and then they were like, oh no, it's CM Punk. Massively taking the piss out of how idiotic Jeff Hardy's entrance actually is. Then we have Undertaker returns at Summerslam. After the whole title match thing, it's when Punk's down and then the lights go out and the Undertaker it's Hardy's down and then the Undertaker is suddenly there with the light switch over. That was brilliant because Punk's face was like, it looked like he'd actually wet himself with fear.
Triple H gets knocked out by the Big Show at bragging rights. It's not on the list, Bobby, but you're going to have to ad-lib.
Oh yeah! That was absolutely brilliant. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that was absolutely genius because it looked as though Triple H was just going to come in and destroy everyone and then the Big Show just belts him in the side of the head.
I couldn't believe Triple H actually sold it. Ricky Steamboat?
Oh yeah, Ricky Steamboat finally gets the respect that he deserves. Ricky
Steamboat should have been a world champ. Well, he was in AWA. No, NWA. Probably both.
But I mean, he gets in a company like WWE. He finally gets the crowd as a whole to respect him in the way that they should do.
And Sheamus wins the world title. Was it good? Was it bad? It was certainly fucking surprising.
It was. We discussed this. It was the most surprising thing either of us have ever seen happening in wrestling. When we were picking,
it was the first time I'd genuinely been shocked by wrestling in years.
I mean, because there's things that happen that are a bit of a surprise, but there's nothing. They're just like, really, someone booked that? What? And it was just we were making predictions before TLC, and Callum was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick Sheamus. Not really. Anyway, that's our list.
What a rube I was. Anyway,
that's our list of moments.
Worst moment.
Wait, well, we've not told them what the best moment was yet.
They don't need to know. Edge attacks Kofi Kingston and enters the Elimination Chamber. This was perfect booking. It just completed that whole genius pay-per-view that was No Way Out. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then Rey Mysterio went mental at him and tried to attack him. Great.
Brilliant.
Okay, worst moment. Raw guest hosts are announced.
We were just immediately at the time we were like,
Well, it was first announced by like Vince McMahon said Donald Trump was going to do this, but I'm not going to do this, and Bobby was like, oh thank God. But then they did it.
Oh,
awful.
God.
Edge gets injured.
Something that actually just happened in real life. That was.
Well, it was partly WWE's. Well, it was quite a lot of their fault. They did wrestle 5 matches in a week, but at the same time, it was kind of a freak out.
And it just kind of sucked because it derailed so many good things that were happening.
Summerfest incident. This was the nadir. This was the peak, the worst moment of guest host involvement. This was just signified that the guest hosts don't give a shit. They're just here to promote themselves.
Just someone there to promote his terrible looking movie. If any of you saw the goods, I am ashamed of you.
Donald Trump buys Raw.
The same sort of thing as guest host announced, but it was just shit.
Gimmick nonsense. Shane McMahon destroys legacy. We completely forgot about this. Do you remember this? When Shane McMahon just came back and just
single-handedly beat the shit out of
everyone was watching. Like Stephanie was like, "Oh yeah, I'm inviting back Shane." Comes the man, and you're like, "Oh my God!"
And then Shane did that thing where he tackled Randy Orton and then just went. Awful! What? This is Randy Orton, supposedly one of your most dominant champions.
Mark Henry pins Randy Orton.
Clean, as if he's some kind of actual credible threat. What? No!
Triple H retains at WrestleMania. This was appalling. I mean, Triple H, the way the match was booked, we'll talk more about this later, but the way the match was booked, it meant Triple H knew that what he was doing was wrong, because he had to cheat to win. He knew Randy Orton should have won the match, and he did it anyway. Triple H was actually much better during the rest of this year. For once, I think he realised he'd done wrong there, and he tightened up his act a little bit. He was still being a bit of a dick, but miracles don't happen.
We also have listed under worst moment, Sheamus wins the world title. Because we just don't know this. We just don't understand why.
Mr. Kennedy released immediately after being declared
the future world champion. I mean, that was just... Mr. Kennedy being released was ridiculous.
I don't know what they were thinking, but I don't know why TNA haven't signed him yet. I really don't understand this.
Interesting.
And finally, Big Show announced as Chris Jericho's mystery partner.
Alright, well, there's no suspense. This is the winner of this award. It was the most disappointing moment of the year.
I remember Bobby wasn't watching the pay-per-view and he was like, "Oh, please tell me who the mystery partner is. Please tell me who the mystery partner is." And I was like, "It's the Big Show. I'm not even joking. It's the Big Show."
I was out for someone's birthday, I think, and I just got that text. I was like, "What? I need to get really drunk or my night is ruined." Like, it was just shocking.
Turn over to the last part, and it will be the last part.
We promise. It will be the last part.
Well, actually, it's quite long. Where we will discuss the best and worst matches of 2009, because after all, WWE is a wrestling company.
Exactly, and that is what matters.